Hi boys and girls, it's our last 3 chapters for the Chalkbox Kid. Harry's trying to make an appearance. Kennan's trying to grab him real quick. This is the longest my hair has ever been, probably since I was in 3rd grade. With you, I feel like I've got an awful lot of hair right now going on, which is too much because usually mine's a lot shorter, but as soon as I can get a haircut. Oh. Okay, our last 3 chapters. And then that's it. We're done. I hope you enjoyed this book. Today's been a really, really nice day outside. Hopefully tomorrow will be too. But if you feel like doing a little bit of chalk drawing, you know, you never know. Chapter 7 is called Gregory's Garden, and that's Harry making the noise over there. Gregory's garden was in the burned building. It was in the room with 3 walls. He had rubbed out the ship and the alligator he had drawn. They didn't belong in a garden. He had made rows of vegetables across the walls. He had made sunflowers, and he had put in poles with sweet peas on them. He even made a path, and the path led to a pool. He put a toad by the pool. I love toads. "Come and see my garden," he said to Mother. "You know I don't like that burned building," she said. "Can't you find a better place to play?" "It isn't ugly now," he said. "I cleaned it up." He asked his father, "Do you want to see my garden?" "Are there any strawberries?" asked Daddy. "I can put some in," said Gregory. "You do that," said Daddy. "Put in lots of strawberries, and when they're ripe, I'll come out and eat them with sugar and cream." Do you think they're thinking it's the type of garden that he's thinking? Gregory didn't ask Uncle Max to look at his garden. Uncle Max would only laugh. At school, the girls and boys talked about their gardens. Miss Perry asked Gregory, "How's your garden?" "All right," he said. Ivy was there, and he said to her, "I have poles with sweet peas on them." Ivy said nothing. Miss Perry said, "That's nice. What else do you have?" "Vegetables," he told her, "and I have a path to the pool." Here's the picture where he's talking to his mom and daddy. You don't really see faces, but you can see a little bit. She looked surprised. "Your garden must be big." "It is," he said, and he had plans to make it even bigger. He took the ladder out of the garage and he set it up in the garden room. When he was on the ladder, he could reach the top of the walls, and now he could have trees in his garden. He would have a pear tree and a walnut tree. He made vines to hang from the branches, and he made birds' nests in the trees. It rained one night, and he lay awake. "My garden will be gone," he thought. But it wasn't gone. Only a few vegetables had washed away. He was almost late for school that morning. He told his teacher, "I was working in my garden. The rain washed out some of my lettuce." And if you have a really bad rain, sometimes it can actually wash out whatever you've planted in your garden. So it wasn't far from the truth of what he was saying. "You work in your garden a lot, don't you?" said Miss Perry. "Yes, I do," he said. "I may put in a fountain." Vance was listening. At noon, he asked Gregory, "So where is this garden with a fountain in it?" You can see his trees that he's drawing here while he's up on that ladder. "I don't have a fountain yet," said Gregory. "You're always talking about your garden. Where is it?" asked Vance. "Back of my house," said Gregory. Afterwards, he saw some of the boys and girls with their heads together. They were looking at him and talking. He thought they were talking about him. What do you think? I think they were probably talking about him too. Chapter 8 is nothing at all. When Gregory got home from school, he went straight to his garden. He was thinking about the fountain. The garden spread over 3 walls. 1, 2, 3. He would have to take out something to make room for this fountain, but he liked to make changes to things. He started at the garage to get the ladder. He stopped. There were footsteps outside the gate. Someone laughed. Someone went, "Shh." The gate opened. Boys and girls came pushing in. They were all from room 3. Vance was the leader. He said, "We came to see your garden." "Where is it?" asked one of the girls. "This is it," said Vance. "It's just a burned out building," said someone else. "Didn't I tell you?" said Vance. It's nothing at all." And he turned and walked out. The others followed him. The last one out was Ivy. She looked back. She almost stopped, and then she was gone. That night, Gregory wasn't hungry. There was chocolate chip ice cream for dessert. That sounds delicious. It was his favorite, but he couldn't eat it. Mother felt his forehead. "It feels hot. I think you should be in bed." He went to bed, and she sat with him. "Gregory, what's wrong?" she asked, and he began to tell her. "Some of the others at school have gardens. I said I had one too. Why did you say that? She asked. Because I do have one, he said. It isn't like theirs, but it is a garden. The one you made in the burned building, she asked. Yes. And after school they followed me home and they came to look and they said, what did they say? They said it was nothing at all. They thought I was just bragging. And weren't you bragging? No, I wasn't. Maybe I was pretending a little, but I wasn't bragging. They can think what they want, he said. I don't really care. What do you think, Charlotte? She thinks she's going to go down the side of the thing. Don't. Stay up here, please. Up here. Stay here. Come on, pretty girl. Ivy and Richard. But it was hard for him to go to school the next day. When he got there, he walked around the block before he went in. He was the last one in room 3. Miss Perry smiled at him. He didn't think she knew, but the others did. He could feel them looking at him. Ivy sat up front. Miss Perry spoke to her. Are you going to make us a picture today? Ivy had brought her leather case to school. She didn't answer Miss Perry. She just stood up and came straight to Gregory, and she put the case down on his desk and went back to her seat. The room was very still. Miss Perry looked puzzled. She asked, do you want Gregory to use your paints and brushes? They're not mine, said Ivy. Of course they are, said Miss Perry. No, said Ivy, they're Gregory's. How could they be Gregory's? Asked Miss Perry. Because his pictures were better than mine, said Ivy. I saw them on the walls. They're better. Miss Perry looked more puzzled than ever. What walls? Gregory, do you know what she's talking about? Do you know what she means? He told her. She means the walls in back of my house. I made a garden there out of chalk. Out of chalk? Said Miss Perry. That's my garden, he said. That's the one I talked about. I see, said Miss Perry. And she came back and picked up the leather case. This is yours, Ivy, she said. It's part of your prize, and your name is on it. But if Gregory's pictures are as good as you say, I can see why you want him to have a prize, too. She put the case down on Ivy's desk, and the bell rang, and school began. At noon, Miss Perry said to Gregory, I'd like to see these walls of yours, and I'm sure Miss Cartwright would, too. Do you remember who Miss Cartwright is? The art teacher. When may we see them? Anytime, he said. Today after school? She asked. Yes, he said. They walked home with him right after school. Miss Perry and Miss Cartwright. He opened the gate for them, and Miss Perry said, oh. And Miss Cartwright said, it really is a garden. They looked at the walls and talked to each other. They sounded excited. The picture he did in art were nice. The pictures he did in art were nice, but nothing like this, said Miss Cartwright. I heard him say a piece of paper wasn't big enough. I think he needed a whole wall. Take a look at this. It's amazing. Now you're going to see open sky, and that's where the birds are actually flying around. These are the 3 walls of the garden that Gregory did, but you can see this is the open because there's no roof on it. You can see actual birds flying. But if you take a look, right here's the path, and if you go back, there's his fountain back there in the middle. I think maybe you could see the little toad. Thank goodness you got rid of the alligator, right? Because that wouldn't have fit very well in that garden, but you can see all sorts of things. It's absolutely gorgeous. The sunflowers over here on the side. What a lot of work went into that. Miss Perry asked him, where did you get this idea from? From Mr. Hiller, he said. I want him to see this, said Miss Perry. Mr. Hiller came to see the garden. I'd like a picture of this, he said. A big picture of this to put in my nursery. May I bring my camera over tomorrow? Yes, said Gregory. On my way out, Mr. Hiller met Daddy. Daddy had just come home from work. Are you this boy's father? Asked Mr. Hiller. I am, said Daddy. I just saw Gregory's garden, said Mr. Hiller. You must be very proud. Proud? Said Daddy. Yes, proud, said Mr. Hiller. And he left. Mother came out. Who is that? I don't know, Daddy said, but I think we'd better see what's behind our house. They went out into the burned building, and Gregory went with them. Mother looked at the walls. Oh, Gregory. We'll need to get new clothes, said Daddy. New clothes? Asked Mother. Yes, said Daddy, because our son is going to be famous, and everyone will be looking at us. Mother called Uncle Max, and he came out. He looked at the garden for a while, and first he was the paintbrush kid, he said, and now he's the chalk box kid. It sounded like a joke, but Uncle Gregory wasn't laughing. And that night, when Uncle Gregory went to bed, he saw his old pictures on the wall. "Where are your posters?" he asked his uncle. "I took them down," said Uncle Max. Things were different at school. Everyone he met was friendly. Even Vance was friendly. "There's a picture of your garden down at the nursery," he said. "Why don't you go see it?" But the best thing of all happened one evening after school. Gregory was making a place for his fountain when Ivy came to the gate and looked in. A little boy was with her. Who do you think that little boy might be? Maybe your brother? "This is my brother Richard," she said. "I brought him to see." Gregory had piled up bricks and made places for them to sit, and the three of them sat on the bricks in front of the walls. Ivy whispered to her brother, "This isn't like our garden, Richard. This is different. This is somebody else's garden." "I see it," said the little boy. Gregory told Ivy, "I'm putting in a fountain. Do you want to help me?" "I don't know," she whispered. "I might." Then they were quiet, and they sat there for a long time. That's the end of our book. Take a look at the last picture. You can see them sitting on little brick seats, talking. I think the relationship that Gregory has with Ivy is going to turn into to be a pretty special one. I think that she's super shy, and I think Gregory is too, but I think he's a little bit more outgoing than she is. And I think that he's going to help to bring her out of her shell, and she is a magnificent artist just like he is. I hope you liked this book. I did too. I remember reading the last page and thinking, tell me more, tell me more. And maybe that's exactly what you could do. Tell me a little bit more, or what you think, or how would you have the story go, what direction. Sometimes the best books are ones that we never want to end. And I really wish that my time with you was not ending. I wish we had a whole lot more time together, but we don't. This is our last book. I know we'll see each other soon. I was so glad that I got to see a lot of you on Sunday when I stopped by your houses, and I'm hoping that we'll have something else fun planned when all this is over and we can get together and see each other again and like actually give each other hugs and sit close to each other and maybe have some food. So for now, I'm going to say goodbye. You have my cell phone number. You can text me, send me pictures all throughout the summer of things that you're doing or what you're doing daily, because you know I love to see it. I love you. I miss you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for listening to the Chalk Box Kid with me, Charlotte. Bye.